Yeah, sorry, I forgot to hit the record for the instant replay. So if you're watching the instant replay, we're just coming on now. Um, long story short, the hockey play that you see up there in the what is that right hand corner to most people?
Yep,
Did you see this play last night?
I did not.
Okay, so this is the Canadians and the Jets last night. And I've got the video. We'll see if they're gonna ding us or whatever. But you got to see this play. Remember something, because I don't think the scoreboard's on this video. The score at the time is 4-3. Okay. And the Canadians have a 4-3 lead. It's about 50 seconds left in the game, give or take. And there's an empty goal. Okay. So that's where we're at. There's an empty goal. The Canadians, Evans is trying to score a reach around goal or a wrap around goal. I always like to call them reach arounds because I think it's funnier. But he's trying to do a wrap around goal on an empty netter. And this guy's name that is knocking the living hell out of him is Mark Scheifele. And here is where there's going to be two school of thoughts, and we'll get to them in a second, but I just want to go ahead and hit this real quick. So here we go, and you'll see it right here. He's coming around for the wraparound. Bam!
Oh my.
Okay, lights out. They actually have to pull him off, and of course, as this goes on, you'll see everyone's going to go in a scrum. The referee, by the way, did a great job of protecting Evans because he's laying there lifeless. He didn't want people falling on him, kick, all that kind of stuff, right? He's literally unconscious. So, anyways, we'll go ahead and take that off. And I'm so torn in this because I listened to a big debate about it this morning. At first look, I see it and I'm like, that is a dirty ass hit, right? But the game wasn't out of control. It was 4-3 at the time. He's trying to prevent a fifth and basically deciding goal. And Evans has his head down, is the thing. Evans has his head down. So then we get into the how much is too much on a play like that. And look, for everyone who's listening and watching, I could probably be argued into either side of it. But I'm starting to think that Scheifele was actually making a good hockey play, and it was Evans whose head was down. That I'm not going to say he's in the wrong, but his head was up his ass. Okay. What say you on that? I can't replay it several times because if I do, I got a funny feeling it's going to be, bloop, and we're going to have to restart the whole video again. The powers that be will, hit us. But what is your initial reaction just seeing it for the first time? What say you?
Well, knowing the score and the situation also helps there. But to me, it's such a bang bang play that it's hard for me. Yeah, okay, if it's a penalty or something that possibly I'm not a hockey expert on everything like that, but in a bang bang play, just like in football, when a guy's running at the last second, he puts his helmet down and the defender hits him, and then it's a penalty now these days. It used not to be. It's hard for me to go against what the guy did, especially in that. I mean, he's literally trying to save a goal from scoring and the game being tied in a playoff game. This is not just a regular season end of the year type. This is, everything's on the line. To me, it was a bang bang play, and yeah, unfortunately, I'm sorry for the one guy who got knocked out. You never want to see that in the game, especially being carried off into a stretcher. But to me, you can't mix emotion and where the game was at that point. And I think, it's a hockey play. I'm not saying it was a clean play, but it's bang bang, and things like that are going to happen in the physical sport of hockey, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's where I'm starting to fall on now. Brian, a loyal viewer, he's watching right now, so I just posed the question to him: does he think it was a dirty hit? I feel like it's an unfortunate hit, but it's not a dirty hit. Now, the Canadian players were quoted after the game basically saying that if he's out there for the next game, there's going to be hell to pay, basically saying that he better be suspended. But I don't know if he should be. There are a lot of hockey plays that I see, and I say, man, that's a dirty ass play. They need to freaking bench this guy. They need to suspend him. Da 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 da. the one with the Capitals earlier comes to mind. But in a situation like this, when they're both of them going at the speed of light, and he was literally just trying I mean, he did decapitate him, but I don't know if that was necessarily the intent. The intent was to have enough force to knock him off the goal. By the way, the goal was scored, and Montreal did win. I don't know. That's it. It's going to be interesting to see what the league does, because if the league suspends him, there's going to be hell being raised on the side of the Winnipeg Jets. If he doesn't get suspended, then the Canadians are going to be upset, because it's literally one of those ticky-tack plays. And of course, the Canadians want Mark Scheifele to be suspended, because he's one of their better players. He's their center. For people who aren't familiar with you know what goes on in hockey and whatnot, I do like to lay that out, because it's not necessarily a mainstream sport. I've got nothing else to add to it. I just am just flabbergasted by the entire thing. I'm very interested to see what the league. I'm assuming they'll come out with a decision today. I'm very interested to see what the league does if they suspend him. I almost think, to keep the cooler heads, that you have to suspend him for a game. I almost think that. I don't know if it's necessarily fair, but I feel like you almost have to, or you can have an absolute bloodbath on your hands in the next game. Anyways, we will move on from that. Get you caught up to date with the scoreboard real quick here, as we are rolling along here on a Thursday morning. We got a lot to get into, a little time to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the what's happening on the scoreboard real quick for people that missed it, mainly because a lot of this junk comes on way too late. Vegas loses again. This time is an overtime loss. It was a close game. It was a good game, 3-2. And the Avalanche go up 2-0. We just were talking about it. Montreal goes up 1-0. That was game 1 of the series. Game 2 will be back in Winnipeg, and we'll see how that goes. And obviously we'll react the moment we hear something. In the NBA last night, there were some games, and then there were some games. There was 4 games last night, 3 elimination games. Utah eliminates Memphis 126-110. The game was never really in doubt. I tried to watch a good part of it. It was just dull as dishwater. Not as dull as the Philadelphia-Washington game. That game was absolutely there. You never felt like Washington had a chance of winning that. They win 4-1 without Embiid. The news we got there was Embiid, a small tear in his meniscus in his knee. I think it was his right knee. Now they say small tear, so you feel like that's better, but it's a tear. So it's like, what the hell are we talking about? They didn't give a timetable. I don't know if he's going to be ready for the next series. In the next series, he will be going up against the Atlanta Hawks, who took out the New York Knicks, smoked them 103-89, 4-1, after Knicks fan and New York media had me convinced that New York was just going to cruise on by, and we were going to get a Philly Knicks second round matchup, which would have been a lot of fun. Not so fast, my friend. The Knicks still suck, and Trae Young went 36, and Trae Young, it is official now, he owns the city of New York. And then in Major League Baseball, real quick, we won't go through all of them because obviously there's too many games. The Cubs get a big win yesterday against San Diego. Alzolay, another solid game. Only 5 innings, but he did get 7 strikeouts. Mets over Arizona. The Yankees beat the Rays 4-3 to climb back a little closer in the AL East race. And the Braves once again lose to Washington. Piss poor pitching by Drew Smiley, number 1, and then terrible bullpen managing by Snicker. But I'll get into that into Braves country today, later on today. That usually drops at the right around the 10 a.m. hour. By the way, do want to mention today is the debut of our Red Sox Yankees Rays show. I still haven't come out with a good name. I'm trying to figure out a name that would kind of encapsulate the AL East, but but I haven't really come up with one. So we'll see what we end up calling it. Who the hell knows? But we'll do that today at 10 a.m. That'll be live on YouTube. Sergeant Timus Wooten will be with us. And Angelo's going to be with us in the very near future. He's a school teacher. He's just not being able to record live yet. And we have a little kinds of scheduling issues between the two of them. So we're going to go ahead and do show one today. And then the next one going forward, it'll be on Monday mornings at 10. Speaking of that, Red Sox lose to the Astros 2-1, and Dodgers all over Martinez last night. I saw a betting show last night, Joey, and one of the locks was the fact that they felt like that Carlos Martinez with his even though he had decent statistics, they felt like that he was bound to get ambushed. And I felt like I've been feeling like this for several weeks. I dropped him in fantasy weeks ago because I watched him play, and every time I watched him pitch, I was like, he's just not that good. He's lost something on his fastball. He was dancing through the raindrops for several starts. He gives up 10 earned runs in 2 1/3 inning. They're down 11-1 at the end of one. Now, I can't tell you how much that makes me happy as a Braves fan to see the Cardinals give up 11 runs in the first inning. So it reminds me of when they did it to us in the playoffs. Not really the same thing, but Walker Buehler cruised on 14-3. The Dodgers beat the Cardinals, and Atlanta's in trouble. They got to play today at noon, and then they get a 3-game series against the Dodgers this weekend. We're going to dodge Walker Buehler, but other than that, it's going to be slap-ass ugly. Braves are not playing good baseball at this point. And other than that, Sean Manaea complete game shutout against the Seattle Mariners. Of course, the Mariners are the Mariners. So there you have that and what's happening. And then also today, mentioned in the Sports Flash, the Women's College World Series starts tonight, and I am going to be locked into that. I actually starts today. I think it's a quadruple header, and I'll pull up the times here in a second, but I want to say it starts fairly early. I know Florida State's playing 9:30 at night. I'm like, what the hell is this? I get that they're playing UCLA, but I don't want to stay up till freaking midnight to watch softball. Anyways, what say you on any of the things that I just said?
Well, I was paying attention to the NBA last night just because a lot of series were on their way out. The 3 that were 3-1 all concluded, as you said, but I mostly was intrigued and impressed by the Dallas Mavericks. Clippers were one of those.
I don't know if I mentioned that score. Dallas beats the Clippers to go up 3-2. I'm not sure if I said that or not, but go ahead.
It was a good game. It was 105-100. Clippers tried to make a late comeback. Luka had 42 points, 8 rebounds, and 14 assists. He's just been dominating this series, and I'm just happy because the Clippers, are resting players at the end, trying to avoid the Lakers. And here the Lakers are. They could be eliminated tonight. So we could possibly have both LA basketball teams on the brink of elimination before we hit Saturday morning, which would be something wild to me.
By the way, the softball begins at noon Eastern today. Here's a strange thing. They go noon, they go 2:30, and then they don't play again until 7 and 9:30. I think that's a mistake, to be honest with you. I think they should probably be playing that third game around 6 o'clock Eastern, and then get the Florida State UCLA game going around 8 o'clock Eastern. But anyways, they don't ask me these things, but I don't think people are going to stay up late to watch women's college softball. You're going to watch it because there's nothing else on at the time, and that's why you grab them early, right? You get it at 6 Eastern. There's nothing else on. You're like, I don't want to hear Sports Center drone on about something that they're trying to push on to me. Let me watch a live game. But anyways, that's what you got going on there. And then today, by the way, I thought it was funny, the post-game interview with Luka last night. He talked about how poorly he played, and he only scored 42 points. I mean, what the hell is he talking about? I was like, how poorly you played. He carried the team down the stretch. It was ridiculous. I did see the tail end of the game. I fell asleep early. I woke up midway through the fourth quarter, and I said, hell with it. I'm going to freaking watch it. And such a close game. It actually kept me awake, and I watched the entire thing, and then I tried to watch the post game. You know the TNT post game.
Love it.
Dude, it's so hard to watch that when Charles Barkley's not on it.
Oh, that's true. The Draymond was filling in last night for him.
And nothing against Draymond.
Yeah.
But when you don't have Charles Barkley, Shaq, Kenny Smith, and Draymond, you're missing a funny person, right? I mean, I know Shaq tries to be dry funny, but he really needs someone who's actually funny, like Charles with him to kind of go back and forth.
To get under his skin.
Right, exactly. Kenny is fine with for the analytical part of it because he'll go and he'll break down the plays. But if you're going to have Draymond, Charles needs to be there. Give Shaq the night off, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to give Barkley the night off, I don't know who you have as a player that is even remotely funny, but you got to find someone to fill in for Barkley, because I don't know why he wasn't there, but for whatever reason he wasn't there. That show suffered. I made it through like 3 or 4 minutes. I was like, I'm not staying up watching.
With every day on TNT, they actually switch off right now. So Tuesday, Shaq was off and Draymond filled in for him, or on Wednesday, and then or on Tuesday, and then yesterday. So Draymond's kind of filling in for one guy per day to give them an off day, because they're working about 6 to 7 days a week right now with all the TNT.
And I don't understand that. In years past, ESPN had a lot more NBA games on.
They did. They used to have Wednesday basketball, Friday night, but I feel like TNT's, they must have got more.
I guess they outbid them I would assume the finals are still going to be on ABC/ESPN Disney, right?
Yes, they will be.
So, but I don't know how they lost all the early stages of the playoffs, because and I get that they want to give Barkley a night off and whatnot, because you don't want to burn them out, because then when they're on, they're not going to be their best. But I guess what I don't understand about the whole thing is that I'm seeing a lot of WNBA on ESPN. Now, I'm not actually seeing it. I just see it on my guide. I by no means flip over there and watch the damn thing. But I'm seeing a lot of WNBA on ESPN. Like I don't know if they're trying to push the narrative, or if it's just free to broadcast. Like if we if we wanted to go out there with a shaky iPhone, they'd let us broadcast to, hoping someone would watch the game, right? I don't know what it is. But it's got to be budget cuts when it all comes down. It's got to be because people have fallen off of ESPN, of watching ESPN, and they're trying to save money some shape or form, and that's why you're getting TNT almost every single night with the bet, which I'm fine with, because TNT does a much better job than ESPN. But it is strange to see every night on ESPN there's WNBA junk on, and there's no like real basketball on. Thank God they're going to have the Women's College World Series and then the men's college baseball to start broadcasting, which starts tomorrow. Is that something that intrigues you at all?
I'll keep my eye on the scoreboard, but unless it probably pushes to like elimination game, I probably won't like tune in for a full game. Also, with plans, I'm just obligated, but I'll keep an eye on the scores.
Yeah, the men's tournament begins tomorrow, and that's a field of 64, and it lasts for almost a month.
Yeah,
there'll be you'll be at 16 sites tomorrow, and you will have double elimination this weekend in all the sites. And then that will take you to what they call the super regionals for people who don't follow this. So one team from each site will move on, and then they will play another winner next weekend for a best of 3. And then those 8 winners, they go to the World Series. That's the same thing that they do with the women's, which is how we got to where we are with the women's. Real quick before we have to hit a break, let's see which one we want to hit first. Let's go ahead and hit Coach K leaving at the end of this year. Kind of took a lot of people by surprise. Me, not realistically. Now, I've watched Duke my whole life, and I've always kind of pulled for them. not over Florida State, but I would pull for them if Florida State had no fight in the game, right? I've always liked Coach K until this year is the only year that I was kind of disappointed in Coach K, and the fact that he kept whining and wanting to shut the season down and all that kind of stuff because his team sucked. And that was the first indication to me was the handwriting's on the wall. He's about done. Okay. Because when a coach starts saying that he doesn't want to play the season and and it's too dangerous, and that's not really coach speak. That's old man speak. I'm tired. Why are we up so late practicing? I'm tired. I want to go home. So I'm actually surprised that he didn't step down at the end of this season, but he is going to do one more victory tour. I'm sure he wants to do one more tour where all the fans say goodbye to him and whatnot, and they'll be in full capacity this year. And they named the head coach already. It's his assistants. I think he said he's been there for 8 years. What say you on the matter?
Yeah, similar to you, I was a bigger Coach K fan before last year, and he got a little bit cranky there with maybe his older age. But not only that, you mean 6-time national champ, did a lot obviously for that school and organization, and it's going to be, bittersweet. But hey, you get to a certain point where you got to figure like him, Roy Williams, the guy on Syracuse, Boheim, all these guys are kind of, everything comes to an end. All good stories come to an end. I think it's time for some maybe fresh blood, even though they are the classic old school coaches. I do keep an eye on Duke most often because I don't really have a college team in basketball per se all the time. So sometimes I find myself watching Duke. But like you said, if he's starting to get those aches and pains and starting to complain about practice, adios, time to go. It was nice having you. I'm sure you'll have a big ceremony. You'll be cheered every home game and road game like crazy, but all good times come to an end.
So you live up there in the Chicago area, and you don't pull for the Illini or anything?
I pull for the Illini, but I'm not an avid like college football, basketball watcher really until we get to the Big Ten tournament, SEC tournament. I kind of stay behind the scenes during the regular season with everything else on TV. And then yes, Illinois, Loyola, I'll of course always cheer for them. I'm just saying when it comes down to the main stage, I always keep an eye on where Duke is in the standings for some reason. And I don't know if I'll do less of that without Coach K. But it's hopefully he goes out on a hell of a run in his last season.
John Shire, by the way, will be the guy taking over. And when he finally takes over, when is his birthday?
He was a former guard for them, right?
Yeah, he was pretty good.
Yeah, he was above average.
Right, but he's been an assistant for 8 years. Prior to that, when he left, so he was on the 2010 national championship team that beat Butler when Butler missed the shot at the buzzer. So that's where his lineage is. After that, he went and played in the Israel or Israeli League Cup championship league. And I guess he was a champion of that in 2012. I don't know how many teams are in that, and we're not going to do a deep dive in the Israeli Cup. But the thing about this guy is I think they said he's going to be 35 when when he takes the court next year as the head coach of Duke. John Shire will be 35 years old. So if he is good and does well, you could have another Mike Krzyzewski type deal where he runs off, kind of like the Pittsburgh Steelers, where they went from Chuck Noll for years. Then they went to the
Bill
Jaw,
Cowher.
right? Bill Cowher, the Jaw for years. And now they're at the Stare with Tomlin. They went from Noll to the Jaw to the Stare. In my lifetime, there's been 3 coaches for Pittsburgh Steelers football. And that's an extremely low number for the NFL. Duke is going to try to see what it's usually difficult for the guy to take over and do well, but I wish him well. I just don't know what a 35-year-old kid can do going into that job with all the expectations that there are every year. He has to hit the ground running. If he comes out and lays an egg in year one, the rumblings are going to start. They're going to give him 2 years. But if he doesn't go in and make a deep run into the NCAA playoffs in his first couple of years, you'll start hearing them chime for his head, because that's just, they're so used of what Coach K does.
Quick question for you. Do you think it's possibly the hardest shoes to replace from going from Krzyzewski? Or do you, off the top, I know it's off the top of your head, but do you think that's got to be one of the hardest gigs to replace, right?
I mean, in college basketball, I think so. Think about the guy who's going to have to replace Nick Saban. Whoa.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I don't know. Whoa. I
don't, God bless.
I don't wish that on anybody. Now he's going to have all the tools, but that's going to be difficult. When Jimbo Fisher replaced Bobby Bowden, those were huge shoes to fill, and he did a great job for a little while. He ended up getting burned out, and there was a whole thing with his personal life that ended him up at Texas A&M. But there's some big names in sports coaching, college coaching more than anything else, because they're there for so long. They don't get much bigger than Coach K, because in my lifetime, when I think about it, I think of Coach K, I think of Bobby Bowden, Bear Bryant, and then, of course, when Nick Saban finally steps down at Alabama, that's going to be enormous shoes to fill. Dabo Swinney at Clemson, eventually he will move on one way or the other. Those will be enormous shoes to fill. I think about when Jimmy Johnson left the Hurricanes.
Yeah, good one.
But they had continued success. So, and some of that helped with the fact that Jimmy Johnson wasn't there that long. Everyone forgets that it was Schnellenberger that actually built that, almost said franchise program. When Spurrier left Florida, those were huge shoes to fill. So you get a lot of them in college football. You get a decent number in college basketball, but I don't know if there's many much bigger than Coach K. Dean Smith at North Carolina is the one that comes to me. And then we weren't alive for it, but whoever the hell had to go into UCLA after John Wooden won his, was it 11 championships, whatever the hell he did. It's like,
crazy.
Yeah, who the hell wants to do that? We are past time, so we got to take a quick break. When we come back on the other side, we're going to get into the other big news of the day. The hell are the Celtics going to do? And also, we got some NFL and some Major League Baseball to get into. We'll be back in a flash here on the Armchair Quarterbacks. A little shorter break than normal because we ran over time, so we'll be back in just a moment.
Hey, Jacksonville, winter is the perfect time to start planning for your healthy, pest-free spring lawn with True Green, America's #1 lawn care company. True Green's science-based approach and local expertise will help give your lawn the year-round care it needs to be thick and weed-free. Go to truegreen.com/radio to save 50% on your first service. Just call 866-946-5956 or go to truegreen.com/radio today and get a lawn to be proud of.
Take the road less traveled in the newly redesigned Hyundai Santa Fe. With available H-Track all-wheel drive to help you get off the beaten path a little further together. And intuitive safety features that can help you see what's waiting around the bend. Plus, with generous room for 5 and comfortable available Napa leather seating, you can go for more drives as a family without driving each other crazy. Find new adventures together in the Hyundai Santa Fe.
Enjoy sun-drenched days, epic stays, and plenty of room to roam in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Our hotels, attractions, and restaurants have taken the Visit Lauderdale's Safe and Clean pledge so you can relax and explore with confidence. When you're ready for that well-deserved staycation, our 23 miles of golden beaches await. Find wide-open spaces to hike, bike, kayak, and paddleboard. Visit your favorite attractions, then dine out in style in socially distanced dining rooms or al fresco on waterfront patios. Learn more at sunny.org.
Remember, if for any reason you must leave your radio, please have the man at the door stamp your ear so you can listen again later.
Armchair. presents the world's first star in your own radio commercial. Okay, guys, whenever you hear this sound, insert your name.
Hi there.
Your name.
Sorry I'm late. Sometimes there just aren't enough hours in the day to be a neurosurgeon and a swimwear model. Oh, am I thirsty? How about it?
Your name.
Got anything tall and cool? Oh, armchair. Oh,
Your name.
you are so thoughtful. But of course, armchair. The first choice for every occasion. You know, I have a confession to make. If I ever had a son, I'd want to name him Armchair.
Your name.
Oh,
Your name.
come here. Now.
Your name. Your name. Your name. Well, you did very well in your first commercial. Have a
Armchair.
You've earned it.
Armchair.
Please be kind, use your manners, tip your bands, tip your bartenders, here we go. Well, I've been spending all my money on weed pills, trying to write a song that'll pay the bills, but
Welcome back here to the Armchair Quarterbacks. Good morning. CBS Sports Radio, YouTube Live, the Armchair Quarterback Show. Find us on YouTube Live today. Got a lot of shows we're doing nowadays. Joey and Christian, 11 a.m. Eastern on Saturdays. The Neighborhood Play, Chicago baseball talk at its finest. We talk Cubs and White Sox, so make sure to tune in for that. And, of course, today at 10 a.m., Teamus Wooten is going to be back with us, and old Sarge will be talking Red Sox. We're going to talk Yankees and Rays. And we've got a Yankee fan on the way. I'm basically going to be the, the outcast Tampa Bay guy in the group, but that's okay. They're in first place. So nanny boo boo. Still haven't come out with a good name for that show, because I want to encapsulate mainly Red Sox and Yankees is the main thing that I'm trying to hit with that. And I looked up if there was any good nickname that series rivalry had. And there's nothing. There's nothing that I would say was catchy or that I've ever heard before. So anyways, the Big Apple versus Beantown is I just feel like that's too wordy. No one's ever going to find that. But anyways, NFL found an interesting little tidbit, and they were ranking. This is all analytical dork stuff, right? They were ranking top 10 quarterbacks under pressure. Okay. And so we'll go through the list real quick for you. You got Justin Herbert at number 10, whatever. Derek Carr, number 9. That's a little bit of a surprise. Josh Allen at number 8. Okay. Matt Ryan at number 7, the grizzled veteran. I get it. Andy Dalton at number 6.
What?
This is from NFL.com, by the way. This isn't like, I think I know football.org or something, right? Andy Dalton at number 6. Maybe 5 years ago when he was with the Bengals and slinging it. But last year, they're literally going off of last year's numbers. Andy Dalton was so good that they couldn't wait to get rid of his ass, right? If this is even remotely true, they would have re-signed him as a backup. Ben Roethlisberger at number 5. I can't argue that necessarily because this must be passer rating. This has nothing to do with athletic ability, y'all. This is passer rating, right? Aaron Rodgers at number 4. Okay. Starting to make a little more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. Who do you think number 3 may be? The third best passer under pressure when the money's on the line and you want that guy to be there slinging it, bringing you back from behind, et cetera, et cetera.
Tom Brady.
Lamar Jackson.
Oh my Lord.
Is this the same Lamar Jackson that threw the pick six in the middle of the freaking Buffalo end zone? It went back 100 yards. That guy's the third best. Get the hell out of here.
Because then where's Brady, Mahomes, and Russell Wilson at? That's three I would put ahead right away.
Number 2 is Russell Wilson.
So they're leaving out Brady or Mahomes.
So who do you think number 1 is?
Probably Mahomes. Probably. It's got to be. Or is it Tom Brady? I got my Bucs shirt on today, one that's from my brother's podcast. So I'm going to say it's Tom Brady. I'm wrong. You tell me.
It's neither one.
What?
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Okay, I'm done.
Number 1 ranked.
I'm done. I'm done.
I would love to see like I'm scanning across how they get these metrics, and this is literally what's wrong with analytics in sports. This is just like when they talk about the hard hit rate in baseball that I always give Sean and Steven such a hard time with. Like, it doesn't matter if you hit the ball hard if it's right into somebody's glove. They talked about the other day how Contreras, the catcher for the Braves, the young kid, Wilson's younger brother, has the hardest hard hit rate in baseball for catchers, right at like 54%. And he hit a rocket yesterday. It was right into the teeth of the defense. What the hell does it matter? If you're constantly lining out, it doesn't matter because you see where the defense is. They don't all of a sudden. This isn't football where they're running some kind of zone blitz and the ball snapped and all of a sudden the guy's standing where he wasn't standing. He's standing where he's standing when you swing. Look, Ryan Fitzpatrick is good. I still think he's very underrated across the board. I think he's going to do wonderful this year in Washington. I think they're going to be a scary team to look out for. Everyone's going to overlook them. And everyone's going to say, look out for the Eagles. Dak Prescott. Danny Dimes. Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to go up there and he's going to get W's. I guarantee you Washington is going to be in the thick, if not win that division because of Ryan Fitzpatrick. But to say he's the number 1 quarterback under pressure, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
but I don't even have that big a problem with the number, except Lamar Jackson's number 3. Get the hell out of here. He's not a good passer. And Andy Dalton's number 6. And to your point, where's Tom Brady and where is Patrick freaking Mahomes?
The young best quarterback in the game versus the old best quarterback in the game.
Quarterbacks that were in the Super Bowl.
Come on, man. Jesus.
The last 3 Super Bowls, those 2 guys have been in been in them. So in other words, they faced each other last year. The year before, Mahomes was in it. The year before that, Brady was in it. And they're not under pressure quarterbacks. It's absolutely. Literally, it says top 10 quarterbacks under pressure. Doesn't say anything about any other kind of metrics. There's nothing to do with athletic ability, which would obviously take Brady out of it, but it would also take Fitzpatrick out of it, right? It damn sure would take Ben Roethlisberger out of it. I mean,
maybe this writer was hanging out with Tony La Russa before he wrote the article.
Sadly, I would say Fitzpatrick's probably the best athlete of those 3. As far as if you have to get scrambled for a first down, you want Fitzpatrick running for it over Brady and Roethlisberger.
No doubt.
Brady's just very smart and he knows how to get the ball where it needs to go. And I don't want anyone in the history of the NFL, if I have a quarterback sneak for less than a yard, Tom Brady's my guy.
Yep.
He's going to find a way to just wiggle in there. But anyways, we'll move on from that. But I saw this morning. I was like, the hell am I looking at here?
That's blasphemy.
It's ridiculous. Saw that the Titans offensive coordinator was all over yesterday, talking about how excited he was for the new wide receiver depth chart, even though he lost Corey Davis and Jonnu Smith.
It's like you got one guy now.
Josh Reynolds of the Rams, he's the only one that they added. I still think that they're the most likely ones to get Julio Jones. It's between them and San Francisco in my book. Because I think that they want to move. I think the Falcons want draft picks and they want youth. If it was I'm going to trade Julio to get another wide receiver, then I wouldn't say the Titans have a shot in hell, because they're not trading AJ Brown and they have no one else on the roster you'd want. At that point, then I'm saying, okay, maybe it's Seattle. Maybe they want Tyler Lockett, right? But if it's purely from draft capital, I think Tennessee and San Francisco are more likely to give up the draft capital. And Tennessee has a little more draft capital because remember, San Francisco had to trade up this year. I just wish that move would go ahead and go. I mean, let's do it. Let's get it done.
I know. Let's get some Julio Jones talk going. I could see where you're coming from San Fran and Tennessee. A lot of teams could use him, but it comes down to draft capital. Man, wherever he goes, that will make the team more explosive. A lot of people say he's injury riddled, but he's played a lot of games in his career and obviously has put up a lot of big time stats.
What about an earth shattering one of Julio Jones to the Green Bay Packers for Jordan Love? It addresses their issue of wanting a young quarterback to learn behind Matty Ice, and then it would shut up crybaby Rodgers, and he would then have Julio and Devontae.
I mean, yeah, and they were just in the NFC Championship and a couple plays away from going to the Super Bowl. So, I mean, if you added Julio
Jones,
oh, you're in the Super Bowl.
And the only thing you lose is a guy who wasn't starting. I mean, that would be huge.
Agreed.
I have no basis of this. I just like to dream up crap like this every once in a while.
Hey, why not?
Let's go ahead and move over to, all right, so we'll get more into this tomorrow because Matt Carr will be with us, big Celtics fan, obviously. And so the 9 a.m. slot is when we'll get into this tomorrow. But the news that came out that Danny Ainge was retiring did not shock me. But the news that Brad Stevens was going to take his job, I'm sitting here as a Celtic fan going, what? I don't even know if I like it or hate it because I'm confused by it because Brad Stevens has done nothing but coach. And I understand that Brad Stevens, there's been rumors over the last year that he might be a little burned out on coaching, right? And maybe this was their way of keeping him in-house. I guess you got that bullet in the chamber so that whoever you bring in as a coach, if he doesn't work out and he gets rejuvenated, he can go back out there and coach, right?
I can't believe he's coached there 8 years.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot. I felt like it's been a few.
Felt like 30 to me.
Really? See, I thought it went fast.
And it's not even necessarily him in his coaching ability. It is, I'm so damn glad to see Danny Ainge gone. And I will always respect what he did. As a player, he obviously brought us championships in the 80s. He brought us the championship in 2008 as a general manager. But he is just so gun shy on worrying about his stupid draft capital. He never makes the big move to bring in the big name. He's always making these minor moves and adding to his draft board. And so because he never makes the big move, like the James Harden move that Brooklyn made this year, right?
Yep.
He's always got a good team. But there's a big difference between the good teams and then the NBA champion type teams. And you're never going to be a champion when you're good. Because this isn't baseball where it's a wide open sport. This isn't football where it's a pretty wide open sport. This is basketball where you need one of the top 10 players in the league to even start the conversation of a championship. So it'll be interesting to see if Stevens is a little more aggressive and then also who he ends up picking for a coach. What say you before we move on to your
Well,
Cubbies?
like you said, it's about the players, and I already heard wild rumors about maybe, because to me, you probably got to move Brown or Tatum, but not getting into all that. I think it was a quick move, but Danny Ainge probably fell in love in Brad Stevens, and they'll try it all out. But like you said, even the coach ain't the biggest important part. It's about getting the players on the court. So they have a long way to go. They kind of have to break it down and I think build around Tatum. So they'll have some work to do in the near few years.
I'll be interested to see who they go with. Does Brad Stevens go with a young guy that maybe he's either worked with or has some kind of tie to, or does he go for an old grizzled veteran coach, right? If I could have the pick of the litter, my favorite coach in the NBA is coaching the Knicks right now. So Tibbs isn't coming. But that's the guy that I would always like to have, because I love the fact that he always stressed defense. And when he was a part of that championship team in Boston. They're not going to get Doc Rivers, obviously.
No.
But anyways, we'll dive more into that tomorrow. I'm going to try to come up with a short list by tomorrow morning on where I think they'll go with that. All right, man, your Cubbies, dude, they're red hot. They are playing great baseball. We obviously covered this much more on the Saturday Neighborhood Play show where we talk Cubs and White Sox, but man, they got another big win yesterday against the Padres. Granted, Denelson Lamet is still trying to come back from injury, but Alzolay was outstanding.
Whew.
What about that collision in the outfield with
I think it was
Tommy Pham and then
Yep.
Kim was the other outfielder.
Yeah, a little bit of a scary play there. We ended up getting a run out of it. Almost got two, but when you can sweep the San Diego Padres, who have all that talent, I know some injuries aside, but hey, a lot of baseball teams have injuries, right? There's a lot going on, and to be a game and a half up from being just 3 to 4 games back a couple weeks ago is outstanding. This team has won 9 out of its last 10 games, just playing really good baseball, and of course, it's all led by Chris Bryant. Really, I mean, the dude's hitting 317. He's got 36 RBIs. Baez and him in contract seasons, shocking, are playing really good baseball on defense and offense. So everything's clicking right now. The team's happy. I can't blame them. And please do not sell off anything at this point. I know I kept saying that probably would happen, but to me, you're too hard in the thick of things. Even if you go through a tough stretch and in second for a bit, you're in the thick of this race. This is a 2-team race in my eyes. Let's say you.
Well, if you look at it, speaking of, where are we at here? Why am I not seeing the Cubs on this list? Oh, it's so weird. Oh, okay. Okay. Because it only has the non-division winners. Because I was pulling up the wild card standing to see where we're at on that. The Cubs are sitting at 32 wins. Okay. 582 winning percentage. If you look at the wild card, 32 wins is really, really close to what the Dodgers are at. The Dodgers are at 33. So I guess my point is, if the season ended today, San Diego and LA are the wild card teams, but the Cardinals are right behind them. Okay. So even if the Cubs do go into a slump and the Cardinals catch them with it, I still think the Cubs have a phenomenal chance of making the playoffs one way or the other. I really do believe that when we talk about the wild cards, it's going to come down to one in the NL West and one in the NL Central. There's not one coming out of the East, period. The highest that you have, highest win total in the East right now that's not leading the division is Philadelphia with 26 wins. The Braves and Philly are tied for the same record, but the most wins is Philly, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like the Phillies, the Braves, the Mets are going to beat the hell out of each other, along with the Nats. I was hoping Atlanta would win 3 out of 4 against the Nats, but that's wishful thinking. I would be happy with the split in that series. And if they win today, they can get that split. It's not going to be easy, but looking at the Cubs and the Cardinals in that division, I just feel like the two of them are going to continue to play well. I think Milwaukee's going to mull around. They're going to be a pain in the ass, but they're never going to put together enough wins. And as long as what they really need to concentrate on, the Cubs, is beat the Pirates, beat the Reds, beat up on them, sweep them, take 3 or 4, 2 or 3, whatever. Build those W's, because as you build those W's, the Padres, the Dodgers, the Giants are going to beat up on each other. And Arizona is a better team than what they've been playing. Arizona's played terrible baseball like the last 3 weeks. When Arizona gets it back together, they're not going to be a contender, but they're going to be a pain in the ass for everybody. So if you're playing them out west, there's some losses right there.
Well, yeah, and I mean, looking at the schedule, it's not easy. The Cubs' next 3 series: at San Francisco, at San Diego, home against the Cardinals. That's 3. That's a 10-game stretch of hell right there.
That is really tough. I mean, that is yeah.
And then at the Mets after, another first place team. I know they're not, the cream.
So how many games is that? About 12?
Actually, the Mets and the Giants are both 4-game series, so that's 14 games.
Okay, so 14 games. And how many are on the road?
All of them but 3.
Okay. So you're going to have a long road okay. And is it a long road trip, or is it busted up a little bit?
It goes 7-3-4. So 7 on the road, 3 at home against St. Louis, 4 on the road.
In those 14 games, if the Cubs can go somehow 7-7, I think that's great. If they, and as well as they're playing, if they do better than that, then they're playing with house money. Because you go on that kind of a tear, you're just hoping to keep your head above water.
Exactly. Just don't blow it up.
What I don't understand, because I wasn't watching the game, I caught the highlights. When Kim and Pham busted into each other. And by the way, Kim, even though he was injured, along with Pham, Kim jumped up and grabbed the ball and threw it to third to pretty heads up play for a guy who was injured. But as Pham comes off the field, and Kim looks like he got the worst part of it. He had to be helped off the field. They're not showing the highlight now, but when they get in the dugout, Pham goes after somebody on his own team. Like they were arguing about something. And I don't know if someone was giving him a hard time about colliding in with Kim and trying to blame him. But honestly, that's Pham's ball. He's the outfielder. If he's coming in, I don't care if the shortstop's going out. It's Pham's ball. If you're behind the play, you take precedence over the guy in front of the play.
Absolutely. Especially if you called it, obviously.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah. If he didn't call it, he's just gonna run up there like a ninja. Then, I get it, but I don't know what they were going about. I never saw a breakdown of that, but anyways, we got to get going. Let's go ahead and turn back time. And
time flies.
It does fly. Let me go ahead and get the music queued up here, and bam. Here's an old school one I think everyone will know, even if you're not even a sports fan. The first publication of Ernest L. Thayer's poem, Casey at the Bat, appears in the San Francisco Examiner in 1888. The work was originally under a pen name, Finn. A lot of people did that back then because the poet felt embarrassed by what he considered to be a bad verse and decides to keep his identity secret until several come forward trying to claim the work as their own. So if people aren't familiar with Casey at the Bat, I mean, get your head out of your ass and go read that. I mean, it's an American classic. In fact, the original lyrics to Take Me Out the Ball Game was was originally inspired by Casey at the Bat. If you listen to the original lyrics, they actually talk about Casey at the Bat. But anyways, also on this date, 1932, we just talked about him yesterday, how underrated he was. Lou Gehrig becomes the first player in 1932 to hit 4 consecutive home runs.
Wow.
They beat the Athletics. Back then it was the Philadelphia Athletics 20-13. Take the over that day. Look out. Birthdays.
It's your birthday today.
We'll do one dead and one alive. How about that? Sam Mills was born in 1959 on this day. If he was still with us, we're talking about being 62 years old. Died as a very young man. For people who don't remember that was way back in 2005 when Mills was diagnosed with cancer, intestinal cancer, a couple of years before he passed away. Of course, his number 51 jersey is retired by the Carolina Panthers, 5-time Pro Bowler. He was on the all USFL team. For people who don't remember the USFL, he was on the all USFL team. I remember Sam Mills from the USFL, played for the ironically, he did play for the Michigan Panthers. He was a Panther through and through. And he also played for the Toronto Argonauts, which I did not know about that. And then also birthdays today. Where's the other one at? Here we go. This one's more relevant. This one's alive. As far as we know, we haven't checked this morning. Rafael Nadal.
Oh, wow.
He is 35 years old, which I did not realize he was that old. He's 35 years old, 20 Grand Slam titles, 13-time French Open champion. Of course, he's obviously a favorite for this week. What is your walk-off for the day, sir?
My walk-off for today is I just checked into my flight. I'm hitting St. Louis, Missouri tomorrow to hit Busch Stadium Saturday. So I'll be trying to pay attention to the sports the best I can. But I'm going to be on the show live from St. Louis Saturday and check out Ballpark Village. So I'm excited about that.
So how did that come about that you're going to a Cardinal game and the Cubs aren't involved or aren't involved?
So one of my best friends and his wife just moved into a house in the area, and they wanted to have some of the people over to check out the house for a nice long weekend and enjoy their backyard. It's going to be 90s plus, and none of us have ever been to Ballpark Village. And out of the few things to do in St. Louis, I hear that's a must. I heard it.
Yeah, I've been to Ballpark Village. It's a lot of fun. I've yet to go to a game. They weren't in town when I was there, but I did check out Ballpark Village. It was phenomenal. And you got to go under the arch.
Yep.
If you haven't been to that, of course, you can also ride it up.
I've actually been on there when I was in grade school field trip.
Okay. It's phenomenal. It was closed the day that we were there. But even if you walk up to the damn thing, it's unbelievable. I feel even less relevant when I stood under that damn thing.
Your neck pain will start to come.
I was like, my God, to put that together. My walk-off for the day is got a pretty good day of sports in front of us. I'm going to be locked into the Women's College World Series. I am going to try to catch a couple of those games. Braves, they are playing today at 12:20. So be a good time to take a long lunch. Tucker Davidson was going to get the start today in a spot start. They're going to pull him up from AAA, and then he'll go back down as they always do against Patrick Corbin. So you got that. And then you also got Rays versus Yankees today. Garrett Cole day. Garrett Cole's on the map. Check out the lineup for the afternoon games. Nationals Braves at 12:20. Rays Yankees at 1:05. Red Sox Astros at 2:00.
Wow.
And then tonight, of course, you got the Reds Cardinals series beginning, which you saw about, and the Cubs are at the Giants. I'm excited for that series, and I'm also excited for another series that starts today. The Mets are at the Padres. Taijuan Walker with his 1.84 ERA against Yu Darvish.
Let's go.
If I stay up late, it's not going to be to watch some silly ass NBA game. It's going to be to watch. It's going to be to watch that. By the way, go Suns, beat the hell out of the Lakers.
Yes, please
and
go Suns.
And
get LeBron out.
And I want to see it tomorrow morning. All right, brother. We'll see you on Saturday.
Good luck, Florida State.
That's right. Well, I can't say it on there.
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on these CBS Sports affiliates and catching the show on YouTube Live. We're here weekdays. Find Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live today. Please subscribe and share and take us everywhere you go. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for Southern sports talk, live from the First Coast.
Gonna get another cigarette, please get